Earth's final transmission. You have sealed your fate. The static bled across every known frequency in the galaxy. It crawled into starships, planetary networks, even private channels supposedly immune to outside interference. For 3 days, the humans had been silent. Their colonies burned. Their fleet shattered. Their last orbital stations, those fragile steel rings clinging to Earth's gravity well, had been reduced to molten slag. The United Dominion, the Harkathi Alliance, the Coalition of Purity, all ancient enemies, temporarily united under one goal: humanity's extinction. They believed it was complete, and yet the transmission came. It wasn't announced. It wasn't scheduled. It simply arrived, overriding communications, overwhelming encryption, forcing its way onto every screen, speaker, and neural implant. It began with silence. No human face appeared. No admiral delivering threats. No diplomat pleading for peace. Only the empty blackness of space. Earth a distant, wounded marble drifting behind the void. Then came the voice. Calm, cold, unmistakably human. This is Earth's final transmission. Across the stars, commanders leaned forward. Envoys froze. Analysts scrambled. The galaxy expected desperation, perhaps submission. What they received instead was far colder. You have sealed your fate. The words were simple, but they carried a weight far beyond their syllables. They weren't shouted. They weren't laced with rage. They were stated like a fact, a declaration from a species that had accepted the inevitable and decided to reshape it. For years we warned you. The voice continued, steady as stone. We came in peace. We shared our technology. We opened our worlds. And you spat on every offering. The transmission shifted slightly. Behind the voice, faint vibrations hummed, low and rhythmic, building in intensity. On the bridge of the Dominion flagship Sovereign's Wrath, Admiral Kaler narrowed his eyes. His communications officer's frills were rigid with fear. What is that sound? Kaler demanded. The officer's voice quivered. It's a carrier signal, buried deep in the transmission. Admiral, it's activating dormant systems. Across all sectors. Kaler's talons flexed. What systems? Their forces are crippled. The officer's scales paled. Not fleets, sir. Not troops. Facilities. Sleeper stations. Automated arsenals. Hidden infrastructure we never found. The realization struck like a meteor. The humans hadn't been defeated. They'd been preparing. The voice pressed on, undeterred by the panic rippling across Dominion command decks. You slaughtered our civilians. You glassed our colonies. You poisoned our atmosphere. You thought we would beg. You thought we would break. You mistook our silence for surrender. The hum behind the voice escalated. Across hundreds of systems, dormant human installations awoke. On Kelsari Prime, atmospheric control stations failed as viral code sabotaged life support systems. On the barren moon of Hentari 9, what had been assumed to be abandoned mining rigs detached from the surface, revealing themselves as deep space missile silos hidden for decades. On Coalition pleasure worlds, the entertainment grids flickered, then collapsed, replaced by encrypted human networks seeding cybernetic viruses through planetary defense systems. Reports flooded into command centers. Admiral Kaler's secondary screens displayed rising casualty estimates, world by world, hour by hour. He slammed a fist against his command chair. Shut down the signal. We can't, the officer cried. It's bouncing across thousands of relays. It's inside our networks. Isolate. Kaler's order died as the voice spoke again. We are not a species that surrenders, it said, the hum behind it now vibrating through the bones of every listener. We are not a species that forgets. You believed this was the end, but this is only the beginning. Across the stars, the hidden jaws of humanity's trap closed. Automated drone swarms, seated within asteroid fields, emerged. Orbital cannons, disguised as mining equipment, rotated toward Dominion fleets. Biological weapons, long planted in enemy food supplies, activated. Worlds that had declared themselves free of the human threat found their skies darkening. Their infrastructures collapsing, their populations screaming under invisible assaults. On Harkathi war worlds, atmosphere generators failed. On Dominion shipyards, plasma reactors overloaded, detonating in catastrophic chain reactions. The Coalition's famed crystalline dreadnoughts crumbled as microscopic nanite infestations, dormant for years, consumed them from within. The transmission's final words echoed across the crumbling galactic order. "You wanted extinction," the voice declared. "You've earned it." A single phrase followed, seared into the minds of every species, every commander, every survivor. "We are extinction." Then the transmission ended. But the reckoning did not. Over the following cycles, entire sectors fell silent. Populations vanished. Cities burned. Fleets, vast, proud armadas that had taken centuries to build, were swept aside like sand before a storm. The humans, once cornered, now hunted. They did not fight conventional battles. They waged a campaign of calculated annihilation. Their weapons were not just ships and soldiers, but viruses, sabotage, subterfuge, manipulation of ecosystems, and psychological warfare so profound that entire governments collapsed under the weight of fear alone. The Dominion sued for peace. No response. The Harkathi offered reparations. Silence. The Coalition attempted retaliation. Their worlds, their fleets, their legacy gone. On the fractured remains of once proud empires, survivors whispered of human ghosts. Strike teams appearing where no transport could reach, black ships materializing from nothing, weapons that defied known physics. Humanity never sent another transmission. They didn't need to. Their silence was message enough. The galaxy had underestimated them, mistaking their patience for weakness, their restraint for cowardice. But in truth, humanity had simply waited, watched, learned, and when the time came, they acted with a ruthlessness that no species had dared to imagine. Entire libraries, songs, and historical records were rewritten, warning future generations of the Terran mistake, of the day they pushed humanity too far, of Earth's final transmission, the cold promise that the galaxy had sealed its own fate. And as the stars flickered against the dark canvas of space, one immutable truth remained. Humanity does not beg. Humanity does not forget. Humanity endures.